Welcome to the Lesbian Peep Show. Peep Show.
Welcome to Lesbian Peep Show. I'm your host, Erin Brown. Today, my guest is Sydney King. She's back.
Hello.
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 Tell the people about you.
My name is Sydney. I'm a Kansas City dyke. I dyke around. I run a funky little sapphic calendar on Instagram where you can find all of the fun little dykey little sapphic events in Kansas City. Other than that, I'm not super online, but I am very outside. So if I seem recognizable, you may have just seen me in the streets. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry.
It's really funny because every time something like that pops up, I feel like Dyke's initial reaction to things is like, "Who's this?" You know?
Yeah.
Who's this? We're just a very discerning group of people. So I remember when the sapphic calendar popped up, and we were all like, "Who's this?"
Sweet.
And it was you.
There were a lot of
also-
people who like DM'd me and who were like, "Who are you?" And I was like,
Yeah. I mean, that's queer culture. That can be a bit much, I think. And like the shark energy of that. But I will say, in defense of dyke community, even though the initial reaction is always, "Who this?" I've never heard a follow-up, "Can you believe?" It's just like, "Oh, that's who that is." You know what I mean? We're just like, do you go here?
"Do you even go here?"
That's all.
And I do go here, guys. I promise I go here. I go here, I swear. I pinky promise.
Yeah. You're one of my favorite any word I say next makes me a grandmother. I want use, right? Like how old are you?
I'm 24. I just
24.
turned 24 in September.
So I'm like twice your age. So I think that does make you my youth. I think of me as your elder. I'm fine with that language, but I have never thought about, are you my youth?
I've heard people throw around like I've been referred to as like people's baby gay, which
Yeah,
always like gets me in the chest because I'm like, wait, guys, wait, no.
I know.
I also have people who I'm like, you're my baby gay. So it's just like a continuous passing down of like baby gay.
100%. Well, I was actually talking about you on the podcast I recorded yesterday. It's not out yet because we were talking about intergenerational friendships, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about this with this dyke I know," and I was like, I think I said like she's a baby dyke and that she is a younger than me person, but also I think that I may be a baby dyke in terms of amount of time out to her. So like there's a
Yeah.
baby to gay and baby to life experience, and both of those things are really
Yeah.
valuable. You know what I mean? It's funny. And only baby if it feels affectionate, because when I was originally called a baby gay, that was like cute to me for about 6 months. And then I was like, okay, I'm a grown up with like actually a shit ton more experience than you who are calling me a baby. And that's enough.
There's like baby gay cute and then baby gay derogatory.
Yes.
And sometimes people refer to me as baby gay derogatory. And I'm like, because it'll always be people who are like a year older than me. And I'm like, well, you're not that much older than me. And I've been out for a decade longer than you. So
100%. And this is where one thing about me like actually probably the main thing about me is that I would say primary value is that I do not fuck with hierarchy, in that in any given moment, there is a hierarchy that's meaningful. And the example I always give is if there's a fire, then the most important person is probably a firefighter or the person with the ladder or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so in terms of like who should lead or who has the experience or whatever, like that changes. But also,
yeah.
it changes. And so the idea that someone is more important, that's my sticking point, because of age or because of whatever status the word status is upsetting to me. And so when I think about you specifically, because I love you, but also just like intergenerational friendships and queer in general, I don't like the idea that there's a top here. And with
Yeah.
age in our culture, that can go both ways. I'm just like, Sydney's the shit.
And I think Aaron's the shit.
I know, it's so great.
And I also feel like my little take is everybody's a baby gay to somebody. Like there's always going to be somebody who has like more experience and information than you. So there's not like really too good of a reason to like lord that over. Like there's always gonna be a bigger dike, a bigger, better dike. And then also I feel like being a baby gay is less about honestly like age or time being out and more about like vibe, more about like I feel you can very much tell when somebody has maybe like you could have been out for like a decade, but have like never been involved in any like queer community and are very like new and fresh to the community in like that sense versus like maybe you've been out for 6 months. We spent all of those 6 months like boots on the ground like with your community, you know?
There is a seasoning.
Yeah. There's a seasoning that occurs.
And it's very specific.
Definitely.
Yeah. And
I love the flavor.
me too. I hope that this conversation is illuminating for people because there's a lot of people, as you say, who have been out even just like, since forever that still don't participate in community. And then when they get like to my age, rather because they are new coming out or single again or whatever, there's this apprehension around participating in community events because the idea is this is this is for the youth and it's
Yeah.
not how gay works.
Not how gay works at all.
No.
Not how gay works at all. I went to Love and Candace's and I saw their cunty ass apartment and I was like, wow, when I'm 30, she's gonna go crazy.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh my God, when I'm in my 40s, like, I don't know. I feel like, especially the more that I'm like around community, the more I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be so cunt in like 20 years, guys. Just let me marinate a little bit longer. I'm already cunty now, but let me just marinate. It's gonna get better.
We need to have you over. You need to come see the 40 version.
I think my jaw will hit the floor and I will demand a time machine.
Yeah, it's fun. It's the equal and opposite to when I have a 17-year-old. Sometimes the parents of her friends come into our house and are just like like they're in a fun house or something. Like they've never seen anything like this. And I'm like, yeah, none of this is from Pier 1 or I have no idea where your beige stuff came from. This is colorful. This is what we like. This is also
It's a fun little time.
yeah, this is gay. Go do hetero things that make you feel more comfortable because you've seen it before. Which is also interesting. Like part of it is actual seasoning because everything about heteronormativity is about fitting in.
Yeah, definitely. I like recently joined a bowling league with some friends that was like not through Stonewall Sports, through like just like a Kansas City
Regular.
like sports league. And we're like the queer team in the bowling league. And we like made our own little fun little shirts. It was like a fun little time. And I'm like, whoa, guys, like I'm having fun. Why does it seem like the other teams don't want to have fun right now? Like they're like discovering that you can actually like do whatever you want with your clothing.
Ca-
What if everybody had fun? What if everybody
ca-
had a really fun time?
Right. Can I come,
I think so.
like, watch you bowl?
I believe so, but it is, I you know, honestly, it might be closer to you than it's like in the middle of nowhere, like Overland Park.
That's fine.
So it might be closer to you, honestly, than it's like yeah. I mean, sure, yeah, I'll get you the details for the next bowling game.
I'll go. I think, the 1996 Kansas State champion bowler, um, which means I was a protege in fourth grade and now can't. Nope, not there anymore. But I do have lore around bowling and I would love to cheer you on.
Yay. Okay, yeah, let me get the details for you and I'll forward them over. But I need to let you know, I actually genuinely do not know how to bowl.
Okay.
I think this is like the first time I bowled since our first game was like last Tuesday, and this is the first time I bowled since I was like a child, probably.
Okay.
And I was holding the ball around for a little bit there, and then I was like 3 fingers, like what ones do I choose? Can I just pick?
Mm.
No, actually, you don't pick. You don't just pick three fingers. Anywho, so as long as you're okay with like me being aggressively bad at bowling,
This is how we learn. Okay. We were going to tell each other about some specific to our generation's queer lore we want to make sure the other one knows about. So I'm really entertained already. What's on your list?
so I just wanted to make sure that you knew, generationally that JoJo Siwa invented gay pop. I didn't know if that was something that you like had been privy to. It's a very new genre. It only came out this past year.
Mm.
Thank goodness JoJo Siwa came down from the heavens and bestowed it upon us. But there was no gay pop, and now there is. So you're welcome for that. Um,
So this is interesting because we intersected with JoJo Siwa in different ways, right? Were you watching Dance Moms or did you care about JoJo Siwa bows? Was that intersecting with your childhood?
mm, I wasn't a Dance Moms fan, but I had friends who were like super into Dance Moms. So like, I think my generation like grew up with JoJo Siwa on Dance Moms, and then we were like in high school and we're like, oh, she JoJo Siwa cringe bows. Um, And then I should have like there was a girl in my high school who like ended up going on like Dance Moms. So I remember at that time everybody was like, "Oh my God, Dance Moms." But it was mostly like JoJo Siwa cringe bows. And then she became like a little bit of a YouTube figure.
Mhm.
So then it was like,
When she started going "Bleh," or whatever, that's the energy.
yeah. And like she was like she did like collabs with like this like oh God, Miranda Sings, I think her familiar name's like Colleen Bollinger and like Shane Dawson, like the problematic millennials of YouTube, JoJo Siwa had been doing like a lot of collabs with. So I know JoJo as like child star turned like semi cringe celebrity turned inventor of gay pop. But I have lots of thoughts and feelings and opinions on JoJo Siwa.
Mm. I get introduced to her at bows because my daughter liked the bows. So I was like
Mm,
a mom that knew about the bows. I imagine we were probably somewhat aligned in the like it's tricky because it's problematic, but like I guess we claimer sort of era, you know.
mm, 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 mm.
Like, are we proud? But like, I felt before she just found every way to continue to put her foot in her mouth because I'm supportive of people evolving in their understanding of themselves, whatever. I don't feel puritanical about that at all. But she did do that the most crazy way I can fucking imagine and
Yeah.
disrespectfully. But prior to that, I don't know. It felt like I was watching like my kid be cringe, you know what I mean? And just being like, well, we all, have phases.
Yeah. I think for me, like seeing JoJo Siwa as like a queer icon of like Gen Z now, whenever I like think about her, I think about the fact that I'm so incredibly happy that my journey as like a queer person was not televised.
Yeah.
So I think if I was JoJo's, like I don't think I would have been any better. Because I'd also gone through phases where I was like, maybe I'm bi, maybe I'm queer. Like if that had been like,
Yeah.
if me at 14, all my stupid opinions and like dumb takes and like identity crises had been like televised, I think I would be like no less hated than JoJo Siwa right now, to be honest. Like it's just very like unfortunate. So I think I have a lot of like sympathy and empathy for her as like somebody who's like unfortunately going to have the rest of their queer like the rest of their life like televised and documented and dissected. But also, girl, shut the fuck up. Like it like you did not ask to be put on this pedestal or like made like the queer icon or like no you did not request to be strive to be representative of the entire queer community, but now that you are, girl, shut the fuck up.
Yes. Yes to all of that, which is where I feel like I had to come from for some time just to like be in my values was like, this is what happens. It's just it's just
Yeah.
happening kind of sloppily and publicly. But like understandably. But then it's the lack of follow-up. I'd love to see a like, I shouldn't have said fuck the L. And I
Yeah.
also shouldn't have said that lesbians pressured me into coming out. What do you mean? Because I
Yeah.
didn't. So, like, what, three lesbians that you know? Can we please be more specific when we talk
Yeah.
about what all lesbians are like?
Yeah.
Just like walk it back ever. And it's just kind of like one sloppy PR thing after another. And that I can say I officially do not respect and hope that she grows on.
Yes. I think what JoJo Siwa needs is an older dyke to yell at her.
Yes.
I think JoJo Siwa needs like a 46-year-old dyke to just like one of my like favorite things to tell my friends whenever they're like getting too chronically online or they're like talking about things that are just like fake TikTok lesbian discourse. I'm like, imagine telling this to like a 67-year-old stud. Like, what would that stud say to you if you pulled up? Because if she would laugh in your face, then like it's fake. This is not real.
It's not real.
Like, just Jojo, imagine saying this shit to a really old stud. What the fuck would she say to you? Because it's not going to be good. And I genuinely think about that so often whenever I feel myself getting angry over like fake TikTok discourse. I'm like, it's fake. This is not real.
It's fake. It's also like so I feel like I just said I this on the last podcast, but I don't know. It just feels like not punk to me. I'm like, "Oh,
Mm,
we're just gonna be the cops about everything we can think of around how gay works." That's ew. That's like the
yes.
opposite of what we're up to. That's honestly, it's religion, it's purity culture, feels
Yeah.
culty, and, like, while you get to spend time, I think, valuably thinking about all the words you like for your own identity and what that means to you and learn about other people's stuff, I think all of that's really rich and interesting and worth the nuance for your own personal growth. Pointing that at others and making them rules is yicky. You're a
Yeah.
cop.
Yeah. The very like the no can get pride discourse, the he him lesbian discourse, the very like I feel like it's a lot of just like the sanitization of the queer identity to me. I understand like why it has come about, but I need everybody to lock in though.
Yeah.
Because it's I feel like it's very much like, oh, like love is love, like being queer is like just like that whole like I feel like I've heard you talk about this before, but the whole idea that the whole like trying to like make queerness like equitable to like straightness and straight culture and be like, oh, like guys, we're just the same. We just like I just like girls, like, but we're just the same. Like
Mhm.
comes with that like sanitization. And I like my community grubby.
Yeah.
I like my
Yeah.
little grubby. I like
Uh-huh.
to go to Pride and I go, damn, that's crazy. And I
That's
turn around because
crazy.
if I don't want to see it, I gotta turn around and it's actually like so fine.
Also, please surprise me. I'm like,
Yeah.
keep me up.
Also, like we live in Missouri and you live in Kansas. The Pride is not that crazy. You guys need to calm down.
No.
My
What's the
very first
craziest thing you ever saw at Pride? Or like craziest for you at that moment?
well, my very first Pride was New York City Pride.
Mm.
So the craziest thing I saw was Dick and Balls Out, but it was
Oh,
like they had like body paint. There was like a whole
yeah.
like body painting booth. And
Uh-huh.
so like everybody was like naked in the body painting booth and they were like just being painted over. And I didn't realize they were naked until I was like looking really hard because I was like, what's painted on them? And then I was like, oh my God, they're not wearing clothes. And then I was like, oh, like that's Dick and Balls.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
I was like, okay. And then that was fine. It was like fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It is, I think there's a distinction between "Oh, no, this is gross or wrong," and "Oh, I
Yeah.
hadn't expected to see a
Yeah.
chicken balls."
I hadn't anticipated seeing Dick and Balls, but I was wandering aimlessly in the evening at New York City Pride, and I had not looked at the event lineup or any of the booths beforehand. I was just like, maybe I'll find something cool if I just keep wandering around.
And now you know.
And that's how
Um
you stumble into Dick and Balls
Uh-huh.
at Pride.
Mine was there was a small parade at the Kansas City Pride that just, like, went down the street. I don't know, it was a small group of people that were being a parade, and it was on the schedule, and it was a specific community. I do not know all the specifics, but there was a lot of latex, and there was someone who was, like, in a chariot that was drawn by a person that was a horse in latex, but the thing that really that I was like, "Huh, that's what I'm looking at," like the Dick and Balls was, a butt plug that then had the tail.
Mm.
So there was, like, a hole in their latex for the butt plug and the tail to be out, and just, like, sort of piecing together, like, crunching the numbers of what I was looking at was like, "Okay, okay, I bet this is
Yeah.
not something I knew existed," and I love learning.
It's a lot of number crunching. Because when I tell you, I was like really looking at the body painting thing for so long, I was like, what's painted on there? Like, what's the
Right.
picture? I
Is
was
that a
looking for
cloud
so long,
formation?
which like honestly was probably really awkward for them to like just have this like I'm just staring and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
What's that you have going on there?
yeah.
Uh,
I love that we went JoJo Siwa, Dick and Balls,
those are so
uh,
dick and balls.
ass, tail. What else?
What else? Do you have what's on your list? I gave you my first one.
Do you know who Alyssa Milano is?
I do not. Are you gonna take away my die card?
No, it's okay. She's not even a dyke. She was in the show Charmed, which may be closer to you, but not really. She is an actress. She's still around. But in the early 90s, she was on a show called Who's the Boss? And it was actually kind of progressive. I'm rewatching it right now. It doesn't hold up in terms of language. Like they use casual language that would have been okay at the time that we have moved on from. But the themes are pretty legit. So, like, the matriarch of the house is this woman who's a big advertising executive and she needs a housekeeper. She also has a slutty mom. So, there's like a slutty grandma character called Mona who's awesome. And this man comes to be her housekeeper. His name is Tony Maselli. He's an Italian guy from New York, and he brings his daughter, Sam, who is Alyssa Milano, played by Alyssa Milano. And she was just like a tiny child dyke. She put all of her hair up in a baseball cap. Sometimes it was backwards. She was always getting in physical fights with boys. The other kid in the house is a little boy who was also kind of gay coded, and he was like the guy that was picked on. So she was always taking care of him. But she was the first television character that I really related to. And whenever I would like play house or whatever I was doing with my friends, I always wanted my name to be Sam. And I was really obsessed with her, which makes sense to me now. But she was my first like dyke representation in spite of it being just queer coded.
Okay. Yeah, this is not something I'd ever heard of.
This is a deep cut.
I'm so sorry to give you this deep cut of I have no clue.
That's
But
fine. You were not born. So this is not a test.
yeah.
I'm you like a YouTube video so you can get the vibes of what was
Okay.
available to me.
Because I feel like I can envision it, but I need to see.
hmm She
I
just
feel
like
like
always
my
had a basketball in her hand. Like now I'm like, that's a child headed to become a mask lesbian,
mm,
probably, you know? And at the
that's a
time,
pre-butch.
hmm and I'm not really like, I'll fight, but I'm not like trying to. And I'm not like running around playing basketball. Like, I don't really relate to the mask
Mm,
of that, but it was the first girl child on TV that I was like, something about this though is really
yes, you
right
have
for
to be
me.
able to. Yeah. Yeah. Like when the teacher asks all the strong boys to go pick up the chairs and all of the baby ducks come too. That
hmm
kind of vibe.
That's me.
That's you. Okay. The next one I have, this one you might know
Okay.
if you were heavily online in the like mid 2010s.
Okay.
Um, Domo and Chrissy. Do you know who these two are? Oh my God. This was like the OG, or at least for me, online lesbian breakup fallout.
I'm looking them up
Like,
while you talk.
so basically, these two lesbians, they're together. They're like making vlogs, YouTubers. Like, it was like a whole thing. It's like a whole thing.
They're cute.
Right. They're together. They have a kid together, right? Domo carries the kid, but it was like the whole plan that like Chrissy was gonna like adopt the kid and they were gonna have a little family. Kid is born, Chrissy leaves, they break up. It's drama because it's like messy. And there was this whole thing where like at a certain point, like at first Chrissy was like still gonna like be involved in their son's life, but then she fully like dipped. People speculated that she left Domo for a man. It was like it was drama. It was drama. And it's now currently like a little bit of the drama I've seen is like resurfacing because there's like more just like in the age of like not even in the age, but just there's been like a lot more like lesbian breakups, like messy breakups on TikTok. Because this is like an OG like YouTube like vlog couple breakup that was crazy. But recently there was this person on TikTok who like was calling herself a bisexual stud, which no, but go off, I guess. So there was like discourse around that. And then people started like saying that she looked super, like she was like super similar to Domo because Domo was like, I think more mask in her relationship with Christy, but is now kind of like STEMmy, femmy, like just very much like fluctuates between, which is valid, like do whatever you
Sure.
want. So then people were like, don't ever drag my girl's name like that. She didn't do anything because this bisexual stud is causing problems and is like just engaging in nonsense and like just doing stupidity and like making fun like got a fat suit to like make fun of like another creator, was just doing nonsense. So people are like, don't bring Domo into this. Like, keep my girl's name out of your mouth, you dusty, dusty ass hoes. But now people are like beginning to like relearn and remember Domo and Frizzy drama. And it's just like re-entering. Like, that's at least what my For You page on TikTok is right now, is everybody being like, fuck the bisexual stud, but also stop saying that she looks like Domo. Domo would never.
Okay, riddle me this. How was your reaction, and was it, like, emotionally sound when they broke up? Like, were you really invested in their
I
relationship?
was devastated.
Okay.
These were my parents. These were my parents. So I was actually the child in question.
Okay.
So it was me. So I was the child in question. It was me actually. So that's my parents got divorced.
Okay.
My parents got divorced and I was immediately picking sides.
Mm,
Immediately picking sides. Immediately picking sides.
mhm.
I think there was like speculation because Chrissy got into a relationship very quickly afterwards. So there's like speculation of cheating, like speculations of things. Obviously all speculation. But my parents got divorced, so it was I was having a terrible time. I was crashing out as like a little baby dyke. It was like 2018, 2019. This is like right before COVID hit too. So like my
Mhm.
parents got a divorce and the world ended. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's a lot to take in.
These these were my these were my parents.
Yeah.
What do you mean they're not together anymore? So I
Yeah.
think it was also like the very first representation I had of like a dead couple ever
Mhm.
that was like seemingly like healthy and sound and like just honestly just representation period, and also just representation of like a semi like seemingly, because obviously you never know how things are actually like offline, but like representation of like a healthy couple.
Yeah.
So it was very like world ending when I
Mhm.
was like just a young like queer teen to see like is love even real then? Like, do I have an option actually if this is like not working out? Like, is there hope for me?
Yeah.
Was a very soul crushing, so absolutely soul crushing.
I had a, similarly inappropriately large feeling response to Lena Waithe and her first wife, divorcing. And I like Lena Waithe so much I can't talk about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I profoundly respect Lena Waithe,
Yeah.
and, like, how dare I even say more than that, right? And I think it was tied up in a lot of things. I think I have big feelings about, the idea that someone can become successful and their relationship can survive that. Because
Mm,
like, I want that, and I don't want that to be a consequence, you know what I mean? But also, I didn't realize how attached I was to that love story in a similar way. So I was, like, a whole grown up, and also very aware, like, some things this isn't correct or fair, and I'm very upset. That and I love her and Cynthia and Reva, what a great but that initial shift, I was like, "Where's the ex-wife? Why aren't we appalled?" I'm not
yeah.
mad, but I am devastated.
I'm not mad, but yeah, exactly. I'm not mad, but I am devastated. I don't know these people's lives. I've never met them. I never will meet them. I do feel very strongly. I do feel very strongly about their relationship.
Mhm, and I know that's not okay, and I would not burden them with my feelings in public, but
Yes.
privately, devastated.
Privately, incredibly devastated. On my Tumblr, incredibly devastated. Incredibly devastated.
Oh,
Incredibly
what were you
devastated.
posting on Tumblr?
I we don't need to talk about that, but I need I was so upset. I was so sad. I was so sad.
When you were posting about this lesbian breakup on Tumblr, this is so fun. I had a mommy blog spot.
Wow.
We were
Mhm.
having different lives.
We're having very different lives.
Mhm.
In the same vein of like queer couples that I feel like are very iconic to like my generation, do you know who Dan and Phil are?
No.
We're done. Podcast over. Podcast cut the tapes. Cut the tapes. Cut the tapes. Dan and
Retract the
Phil?
part where I said I liked I recognize them. Yeah. Well, and this is actually a good moment. So a lot of when like YouTube, when people were doing this, I was in the like 5 years of my life where all I thought about was my child. And I, like, still had a life and I was still doing identity development. I didn't do, like, my life was swallowed by this, but when you are in charge of a small child, it does take most of your brain power, and so that is a period of time where I don't know much about pop culture. So tell me about them.
Dan and Phil are again some like super, super, super OG like YouTubers. Like I want to say like like early 2010s, late 2000s, like super, super early on the platform. Two British YouTubers, they're guys, they're friends, and then they become like they meet through like YouTube and internet stuff, and then they become roommates, right? They've been on YouTube for like 16 years now. The entire time they have denied any allegations that they were together. Like they don't answer questions about them being together. They're always like, "Oh, we're just friends who were roommates." Da 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 da. Da. It's like this whole thing. People ship them. Like internet is obsessed with them. There's like a couple of times where like text messages or like videos got leaked that were like very quickly deleted that like kind of insinuated that they were together. Just like there's lots of like hints. And when you watch their videos, you're kind of like, there's no way in hell that these two people aren't together. But when talking about it, they're like, we're just buddies, we're content creators together, we're roommates, we're really close friends, or like just like never really confirm a relationship and are very much like they're very, very private about their relationship and about their lives in general. So it's kind of like there's this like these warring factions on the internet of like one group of people who are like, they have to be dating, like I need to figure this out, like deep diving. And the other group of people who are like, you need to respect that these two grown men like want their privacy.
Sure.
This past year, like a couple of months ago, they drop a video that confirms that they have been together the entire 16 years. They've been dating the entire time. The entire time. It is like world altering. Because it's one of those things where it's like, when you know something but you can't prove it. Like I
Yeah,
knew, like I knew it. I can't prove it, and I'm not gonna like go deep dive because out of respect for your own privacy.
sure.
But like, so they go into like the whole, it's like an hour long plus video where they go into like, like before they even talk about like how the relationship started and like how long they've been dating, they talk about all the reasons that they like didn't like come out with it. It was like they had gotten like doxxed multiple times. Like people had like gone to like outside of their house and like taken pictures, like like crazy, crazy doxxed multiple times. And this is like that very early on into YouTube. Like not even like not to say that like even in like I feel like now people are like better about like personal safety and like or it's like easier to look kind of like easier to like find people. This is like before. This is like the OG crazy, crazy people who are just like finding people. So they got doxxed multiple times. There was like a lot of like I think Phil came out first, and then there was like a lot of like pressure for Dan to come out, but Dan didn't have like an accepting family, so it was like lots of like there's like pressure from the internet and also like pressure from like your actual community. And it'd been like they were talking about how like hard it was for them to like get close to like friends and stuff like that because they were so scared of like people finding out that they were together that it was like, well, if one of our friends finds out and then we're not friends anymore and it gets like leaked, da 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 da, like all of this stuff. So it's just been like a lot of like 16 years of basically like hiding and jumping through hoops and finally being able to like get to a point where they're like safe and can be like at peace and like be like out together. And it was just like so like, oh my gosh. Mm.
It's so tough because, like, the gay investigations, when it's coming from the gay community, there's, like, the one hand where just, like, all things being equal, people should be able to have privacy. Sure. But it's also not neutral for people to be
Yeah.
queer. And we're not looking to out people or harm their safety or force people to tell us stuff about themselves. And also, as a community, we are really like both desperately looking for representation. And also, there's so much gaslighting about our own identities, about other people, about queer coded stuff in media, et cetera, that it's just like, I know I'm looking at something gay. Can we just stop pretending that we're not?
Yeah.
you know?
Definitely, I think fixed something in my brain and healed everything.
Okay, so my next one is basically the same story, except it's the existence of Queen Latifah.
I do know about Queen Latifah. I know her as like an OG dyke.
hmm
I'd
And
love to
she
know
was
her
the
more.
same. she wasn't out, and she also, like, if you look back, it's not great, and it is understandable, but she's been facing allegations since forever because that is a lesbian woman, and she's like, "I'm not a part of that community," people ask all the time. You know what I mean? She just, like, was trying to keep that separate from her career and also, I don't know about safety. I mean, whatever her thought process was, but it's a lot has changed and also not since she first came out, as a hip hop artist. I don't know what she was doing before that, but my first is UNITY, that album. Anyway, loved her, and also that was the same thing. It's like, I know what I'm looking at. And she was butch and Set It Off. Um, and like more, she's older than me. She's a black woman. She owes me nothing. But her getting up on stage and thanking her wife and acknowledging they have a family, it also fixed something in my soul, you know? And for her, I was like, I'm so glad that you get to be you now and whatever was in the way feels removed now. But also for me, in this lifetime of being told that the gay stuff isn't gay, it was like, Queen Latifah.
Yeah. Because I think about things like that where it's like if it came out that actually Dan and Phil were both straight and they weren't together, I think I would have an aneurysm to like see what I knew I was seeing growing up and like have to like shift from like taking that as representation. Like Queen Latifah wasn't gay.
Right.
I think I'd crash out just a little bit.
Well, and here's where it's not neutral. It's not at all rude to presume people are straight.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
I think it's also important to see like representation of you can be queer openly and still be successful. Like it's not like a life ending like sentence.
Well, and in the case of Queen Latifah, for example, a lot of her success was because of people like me who were drawn to her being a lesbian. Like, oftentimes when queer people are successful, out or not, it's because queer people are like, I know that. I get that. I want that. You know?
Yeah.
So it's often an open secret just because of the seasoning, because of what we've been talking about. It's not a haircut, it's not a
Yeah.
label, it's something you can feel.
Yeah. And I think that's what feels so like extra gross about a lot of the like circling back to like the JoJo Siwa and like adjacent queer discourse that's happening with like other celebrities is the like you're wearing all of the things and you're like saying all of the words and you're doing all of the performances. But I don't see my people, that like
Yeah.
masquerading as queer and then backtracking after like so many people have had to like pave the way for you to even be able to backtrack
Yeah.
is just extra gross to me.
And then be the victims of that.
Yeah, just
That's tough.
yeah.
Yeah. Alright, you got another
Okay, I have a couple. I have some more. So, a queer awakening for many dykes in my generation
one? Mhm.
is Jade from Victorious.
Okay, I know the show
Mm-mm-mm.
because of Younger Dykes, but I don't
Mm.
fully know the lore.
So, Victorious was just a general like uh generic Nickelodeon show about like kids going to a performing arts high school. And there is one character in it, Jade, who has this boyfriend who she's just mean to. Like the entire show is the bit is like she's just mean to this fucking man, and he is always just trying to like make up for whatever transgression he has like done against her.
Yeah.
And she's just like a bitch to everybody in general, but she's just like so mean to her fucking man. She's mean to her man. She's like gaw and like cool, and she has like a really like strong singing. Like her and some of the other girls in the show. 'Cause she's like not the main character, but her and like the main character are like out to eat at a restaurant or something like that. And these guys are like flirting with them and like won't take the hit that she just like they're not interested. And so they sing a song called "Take a Hit," right? And there's this like one lyric where she's like counting down like slowly to them. She's like one, two, like it's a whole thing. And that's I think when I knew that I was a dyke.
Mhm.
was I was sat and I was watching it and I was like, what if she was mean to me? I remember watching the show and like being like, Jade is so cool and so pretty, and I want to be her and maybe kiss her. And
Mhm.
that is like the moment for I feel like a lot of like Gen Z dykes is the like Jade as a character as a whole, just like dragging this man on a fucking leash, plus like that one episode.
It's fun to be like, what's my version of that? It is on the list. Same but different. Angelina Jolie, scary. When in like the 90s when she was on red carpets, there was always something like she like spilled out of a car with Billy Thornton, Billy Bob Thornton when she was with him, and they were like hooking up in the car clearly and then onto the red carpet. So she was like a bad girl. They had vials of each other's blood. Like it was just like weird and dark, but also she was like impossibly sexy. She's got to be a Scorpio rising.
Mm, mm, mm.
Um and it was one of those confusing things for me because like everyone thought that. Like who doesn't think? You know what I mean? So that like wasn't a gay thing. It's just like obviously she's hot and she's bi. Her relationships with men have been significantly more publicized, but she was in a relationship with Jenny Shimizu, who is a model, very hot, and also very illuminating for me of something that was possible. That said, it was also like very far away Hollywood, and I think only Angelina Jolie's allowed to do that. But
Yeah.
very the like even though I knew that everyone thought Angelina Jolie was hot, watching her do anything really, really had me glued to what was going on in an uncomfortable way that I was aware of.
The common like dyke awakening experience is always like, do I want to be her? Do I want to be friends with her? Do I want to be with her?
Mhm.
And the answer is, hey, you want to be with her, but you're not going to figure that out for another couple years, but you want to be with her.
Well, and I do think and I think about this a lot because of the amount of women that are in my DMs, like, I don't know. And I'm like, you're DMing a dyke about if you might be a dyke. Like I do know.
Yeah.
But that's
Yep.
okay. That's okay. You have a process. But it's because there's so much representation of heterosexuality that when you like
Yeah.
quote can't imagine, which is the thing. I can't imagine making out with Angelina Jolie, but that's because oh yeah. But also because I've seen Angelina Jolie make out with 100 guys. And I've seen every Angelina Jolie character, you know, growing up seeking out a man. And so, like, when you can't imagine, it's because you're not seeing that. But if we saw
Yeah.
equal representation, I don't think you would have a hard time imagining making out with that girl that you can't stop staring at.
Yeah. I think I also think about the fact that like I kind of relate it to the way so I have a lot of friends who are like figuring out their like things with like their gender and their sexuality right now.
Hmm.
And I'm always like, I've never spoken to a straight woman who's like questioned if she liked women. Like none of my straight friends have ever been like, maybe I like girls because they just like don't look at women that way. I think the questioning in and of itself is like something to dissect. You're
The
asking
question is the
questions.
answer.
The question is the answer. The question is so the answer, and it's just are you ready for the answer, or are we still gonna pretend and question? Because I've just
Yeah. The question is the answer. And the thing that I've been saying is like, and you don't have to do anything with that. Like, no pressure. You don't
yeah,
have to do anything with that information. You don't have to decide today which flag you need. You can change your mind about that, whatever. Like, no pressure, but that is the answer.
which is definitely another conversation I've had with like a lot of my friends who are like my baby gays,
Hmm.
who are like, I'm figuring out like queerness, like what do I do about it? And I'm like, it seems like it's stressing you out. So what if you just need to shit about it right now? Like you seem stressed by this and you're not in a position to date anybody. And it's not like you really have to come out if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So like if this is stressing you out, what if you just didn't about it? Or it's actually so okay if you just like continue about your life in a way that is like safe and comfortable for you.
Yes. But you don't have to stress about it's not a quiz that you're getting
Yeah.
wrong. The question's the answer. And then what you decide to do with that answer has so much room.
Yes. I have a friend actually who now I'm thinking of it is like very like she like is queer and she'll be like, oh, I'm a queer woman. she's like, I don't know if I want to like do anything with this information, but I like girls sometimes. And I'm like, valid,
Fine.
cool, great,
Fine.
excellent. There are so many like things that like I as like a queer person wish I had been told when I was like 12 and figuring my shit out. Because one of the running gags in my family is that I never shut the fuck up about coming out. I was coming out like every other week.
I do
Like
know this
rapid.
about you.
This is what I mean when I say that like if my shit was televised like JoJo Siwa, y'all hate me. Every other week I was deciding like I was like, no, I'm bi, no, I'm a lesbian, no, I'm queer. Like just like constantly like running through the labels. And my family would always be like, when is Sydney gonna stop coming out? Won't shut the fuck up about this gay thing.
Mhm.
And we all know she's a lesbian, and I don't know why she hasn't figured that out yet, but she needs to tell us like every other week that she's actually pan.
Yeah.
Or like just like so many different things that it's just like if somebody had just like sat me down when I was 12 and been like, it's okay that you're gay. You actually aren't even allowed to date because you're 12.
Mhm.
Discovering a fact does not mean that you have to immediately discover everything about that fact or immediately investigate every little detail. You can actually just like sit with it and
Yeah.
process that it's there.
We should wrap this up, but I do think this has been a really lovely example. You too can go to a queer event
Me
and
too.
meet dykes who enrich your life and in an age gap way, and that doesn't have to be weird or romantic.
And it's so, 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 so important, I think, especially as like a younger queer person to have older friends who are like safe people who it doesn't have to be, it's like not romantic, not sexual, it's not predatory, to just like have a space, have dykes who will call you out on your shit in
Yeah.
like a loving, like older way.
Yeah. And also like, if you need someplace to crash type of energy, like I'm in the 40 era of life. It just looks different, you know?
Yeah,
I got
definitely.
I got resources differently.
You have resources, you're dependable. Yeah. It's something I definitely like appreciate. But I do see how it is hard for a lot of people, especially like my age and younger, to like try and like navigate and figure out how to like befriend older people.
Mhm.
So like it's definitely I don't know, it's definitely a process, but one that is worth the work.
Yeah. Well, and alternatively, the women my age who are not embedded in queer community, it's more like I know I don't want to be predatory because all they can think about when
Yeah.
they think about women is their own interactions with men that are predatory. And it's
Yeah.
like, we've never had a confusing interaction.
Never. I feel like it's like I can't be like, oh, go out and be friends with older dykes without mentioning that
Sure.
there are some people who kind of suck, but there are way more people who don't suck. And I think it's like easy to weed out when people are being a little weird. But the fear is like understandable. And I think there's also a lot of like when I talk to like my friends who are younger than me, like my baby gays, there's always the like, she seems so cool. Like, would she even want to talk to me? Like the mystique, around like older, really cool. Like I said, I see like Lava and Candace, and I'm like, damn, being 30 is gonna be so cool. I see you, and I'm like, damn, being 40 is gonna be so cool. So I can see how like people get a little bit like in their heads about like seeing like older, cool, queer people and not feeling like they have anything to contribute to like that friendship or relationship.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it to go say hi. It's also just like important to like, like know your queer history. Like I don't know. I really enjoyed being able to like see like older dykes get married and go, well, okay, that's gonna be me one day, and it's actually gonna be so fine. Especially like being queer in this day and age when the country's going crazy. I'm like, older queer people have existed in a time when the country was crazier.
Yeah.
I'm going to be. It's actually going to be fine because we have like persisted and will continue to persist. And I know that we persist because I'm friends with Aaron,
Exactly.
and I
We've got
also know
each
that we
other.
persist. We've got each other, and it's just like it's gonna be okay. Older decks are real, but
Yeah. I love you
yes,
so much. Thanks for doing this with
me
me.
too. Thanks for letting me yap about the millennials who I have. What is it? What's the word? Parasocial. Thanks for letting me yap about the millennials who I am parasocially attached to.
I'm gonna, and not right now, but probably over the weekend while it's snowing, send you a bunch of super short videos of the evidence of things I shared with you.
I will be sending you the clip of Jade singing "Take a Hint" from Victorious. So I think like you need to. I think you're gonna
Yeah.
see it, and it's gonna.
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Peep Show.